Hey, yo, what's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Jaishawn Jackson. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down week one of minicamp, what players like Devin Moore, Christian Parker, defensive coordinator, and what some of our coaches and players have been saying about each other and about the process of the rookie minicamp. So, before we jump into the video, I would appreciate if you guys would like the video, subscribe if you're new, and comment which rookie has impressed you, which coach has impressed you so far up to this point, and what you expect from the Dallas Cowboys and what you want these players to do moving forward. Even what number do you want Caleb Downs to wear? Because that's the topic of conversation. And don't forget to share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content. Hopping straight into it, man. The number one thing that I want to point out, we're going to talk about Caleb Downs in a little bit, right? But I want to talk about Christian Parker. And the reason why I want to talk about him right now is because of his intentionality. I believe that if you're intentional in what you do, and you have purpose, and you're dribbling with a purpose, as Skywalker Steel will say, and shouts out to him. But if you're doing anything with a purpose, I feel like, and with intention, I think you're more than likely going to succeed in anything that you do. And I feel like that's what Christian Parker is right now. When you hear Christian Parker break down a guy like Malachi Lawrence, he talks about how they had him in the former process of reading off of what Nick Harris had tweeted, so shouts out to him as well, saying that he has natural instincts. He can turn his toe at the top of the rush. He plays with power, plays with urgent effort. You see him running down quarterbacks, and that's the thing that they've been talking about, was about how athletic our division is when it comes to the quarterback position, like Jackson Dart, Jaden Daniels, and Jalen Hurts. So anybody we can deploy on the edge has to be able to run solid with them, and he has said that. We had him in the room, very smart, very bright, very thorough, very detailed in everything that we talked about, from run, pass, and how we study offensive linemen. Just a whole 9 yards. I had a really good exposure to him in that process. So again, I feel like when you have a combination of intentional coaches with intentional players that understand and see the game all on one string, I think that would be really great. Because a lot of times, again, we talk about some of those greater defenses. We talk about the Texans, the Niners, the Lions, Eagles. It looks like they're all moving on one string, one accord, one band, one sound. Because when they're out there and you're moving, yes, it's 11 different personalities, emotions, everything like that, but if you can all move as one, I think that is stronger than just 11 different individuals out there playing football. So I think that's what we've been missing in Dallas, is the intentionality part on the defensive side of the football, because there's been a bunch of times when we're very intentional on what we do on the offense side of the football, what we want to do, how we want to be. Now, do we ever actually live up to those expectations year in and year out in terms from the offensive standpoint? No, but we know, hey, Dallas Cowboys are going to draft the offensive linemen. They're going to draft some skill position on the offense side of the football. They're going to luck into a quarterback, and they might draft a running back. That's what we've been doing for like at least the past 10 years. So the fact that we're finally shifting that focus to the defense side of the football, and the Joneses are giving Christian Parker that grace, not giving it to him because he earned it, in my opinion, because that's why he got hired to be a part of the staff, so he earned that right and that grace. So I like the part that the Jones are helping out, and Will McClay are helping out Christian Parker to succeed, because we know what we got on the offense side of the football, which I still feel like needs to add a few more pieces for them to be truly unbeatable. And I think Mike Trigg can be one of those guys. I think if we can get a surprise dude from the running back room outside of Javonte Williams, if we can get the Javonte Williams of this year somewhere in the running back room outside of Javonte, as long as he stays consistent, I feel like if we add a tight end, we get better offensive tackle play, we add another running back, I feel the Dallas Cowboys can be truly unstoppable on offense, while that gives time for the defense to mold and shape into its own form, right? And also, shouts out to Caleb Downs, and the reason why I say that is because Devin Moore got interviewed. I forgot who the interviewer or interviewee was, but they interviewed Devin Moore, cornerback out of Florida that we drafted in the 4th round. They were asking him questions, and they said that Caleb Downs already knows the playbook. He already has it completed. So I felt like that I'm not surprised, and the reason why I'm not surprised by when I hear that is because of how, when Caleb Downs got drafted, I believe it was posted on his own YouTube page that he has between him and his brother, that as soon as the call was made, Dallas Cowboys traded up and they got Caleb Downs. Matt Patricia was saying, "Hey, that's Philly's defense," and Caleb Downs was like, "I know." And then Matt Patricia was like, "Hey, like, we studied for this," so it's not surprising for me to hear that he automatically knows the defense. But it's one thing to know the defense, right, and then to parlay that into training camp and stuff like that. But he truly knows his defense like the back of his hand. What I want him to do is to now be a player coach, right? Because I consistently want him to fine tune the details in the defense, but then I also want him to show the other young guys that are there, like Jaishawn Barham and Devin Moore. And again, those guys, they're smart within itself already. LT Overton, those guys are already smart. But if you can help them out as well, I feel like that'd be great. And again, Christian Parker, those coaches, that's what they're there to do. But then also, it's different hearing it from somebody you're going to be going to battle with literally on the field versus a coach. Because yes, you can. A coach is like a parent. Sometimes it goes 1 year and 1 year and out the other. But if your friend or your brother or whatever, somebody around you tells you something, you might get it. It might click a little bit better. I feel like that's what could potentially happen in this room. But again, with how intentional Christian Parker and this staff has been, I don't think that's going to be the case. But I feel like, again, having a dude back there that knows what's going on, he can on the fly make quick in-game adjustments, and that can be a game-saving type of, season-saving type of play that Christian Parker and or Caleb Downs can make. If Caleb Downs can see it, Christian Parker already sees it. Caleb Downs corrects it before Christian Parker even has to call a timeout or even say anything, because he has that trust, that built-in trust with Caleb Downs for him to communicate in big time situations, whether it's against our conference, whether it's against our division, whatever the case might be. Speaking of head coach Brian Schottenheimer, who wear the green dot for the defense, they're saying that right now they're training so many people in that green dot role. But they're going to find out who can be comfortable doing it. They said that if we're playing a game this week, he couldn't tell you who the green dot guy is going to be. But if I had to put if I'm thinking about it, if we're going to traditional linebacker who will get green dot, I think that'll be D. Winters if the Dallas Cowboys don't get a veteran that has done that before and a player like Bobby Wagner. But I wouldn't be surprised if a guy like Caleb Downs wears it, just for the simple fact of him already knowing the defense, already him being one of the better leaders in the league. Now, but one of the better leaders on your team already. But again, I don't know if they're going to bestow all that responsibility on Caleb Downs day one. I would rather it be somebody else, whether if you want to give that to, like I said, maybe a D. Winters or an Overshown or somebody of that sort to give the green dot to. Now, for me, I still feel like the green dot player that you're looking for is not on this roster. Could the Dallas Cowboys sign Bobby Wagner? I wouldn't be hurt by it. If the Dallas Cowboys want to sign another veteran free agent that they like, that can play more than a possible Bobby Wagner could, Bobby Okereke is still available. So it's really, again, it still depends. We have to be very intentional on who the green dot guy is going to be. But you more than likely, if we're traditionally doing it, it's going to be the guy that's playing in the middle of your defense. I'd rather a veteran type guy do it or a proven guy in this league do it. So if we can sign a Bobby Wagner or Bobby Okereke, I think that'll be really great for this defense. Because again, I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are looking for a super athlete right now at the linebacker position. Prayerfully around the trade deadline, around November 5th, November 4th, they are looking for, an upgrade at that position. But right now, if they're able to add a quality linebacker, I think they should. I think because you add a veteran-like guy with already a wise beyond his years type dude in Caleb Downs, and then you got everybody else that can surround him and just make it a lot better. I think having a true leader in the middle of your defense will be great, and you have a leader on the back end, you have a leader on the front seven with Quinnen and Kenny. I think that'll be, if we can have leadership and talented leadership at all three levels, I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to be really fine this year. And one last thing before we get up out of here, Nick Harris was talking to Brian Schottenheimer, saying if they needed another starting quality Mike linebacker in the mix. Shotty answered by saying, no, I'm comfortable with where we are. We're not looking, or we are not evaluating. Adding D and adding Jaishawn and adding Curtis Robinson, will get an opportunity to evaluate these guys once phase 1 ends, which will end this week, and we'll start phase 2. We're never closed for business. At the end of the day, we have a good group of linebackers. Now it's about training with them, with Christian Parker and Scott Simmons, our linebacker coach out of SMU, and those guys, and getting them all on the same page run. So again, I still feel like in there, when he said that we're never closed for business, meaning that it's still leaving the door open for the Dallas Cowboys adding a true veteran linebacker. And again, if we can add a guy like Jordan Brooks, that'll be amazing. If we can add Jordan Brooks and Bobby Wagner, because I still feel like the Dallas Cowboys should add 2 more linebackers in my opinion. So again, overall, I love the intentionality on the defense. I love what we've been doing from a defensive standpoint, and we've been actually putting forth the effort to change around the defense and how we do things here in Dallas, and I really appreciate it. Now we just have to see it, and we have to prove it. So that's about it for the video. Hope you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.